Yeah, so here we are, the 13th of Tishrei, the yortzeit of the Rebbe Maharash, one of the sons of the youngest son, actually, the Tzemach Tzedek, father of the Rebbe Rashab. Zeichet Tzaddik lebrocha, that the remembrance of the Tzaddik should be a brocha for all of us. Hayom Yom really says that. The Rebbe Maharash passed away this day. In 1882, he was interred in Lubavitch. And he writes the beginning of Ageras 22, which we're not up to yet. We're on just starting 21. And its close were not published in Ageras HaKodesh. And initially they were published in a periodical, we would call it, a pamphlet that came out regularly, which was called Hatomim. It was published in the second edition of Hatomim. And it's probably interesting, I'm sure an interesting history, how the particular letters that we have here were selected and what criteria, etc. However, that's a secret to me. Lessons in Tanya, we're starting, if you're in the small books, it's a new book. Lesson 5 begins a new book on page, 1, Epistle 21. So the Alter Rebbe, having given us all the keywords and phrases for the descent and the pathway of Atzmus to Olam Hazeh, and having ended his discussion, long discussion of that in the previous chapter, by telling us that the end, which is down here below, and particularly the belowness which Hashem commands us to utilize for his fulfillment of his will, is the ikar. The main thing is ma'aseh hu ha'ikar. So coming back to the ma'aseh, to the deed which is called ha-mitzvah, the deed which encompasses all the mitzvahs, he comes back to the subject of tzedekah. So he says in chapter 21, after these words of peace or wholeness that I've spoken before, as I have duly spoken to the beloveds, to the ones who love God's name, those who are donating, the dava, who give no donations, meaning tzedakah amongst the people, he has exhorted us a number of times to focus specifically on tzedakah Hashem and the on his people, Atzei HaKadosh, in the Holy Land. As we explained earlier, that all the hashpos, that all the flows of Elokus that come from so-called above, meaning God, first hit planet Earth, so to speak, in the Holy Land, Eretz Yisrael. And there is a group, the Mendel from Vitebsk, who had been the leader of that section of Chasidim's Talmidei, the Baal Shem and the Magid, had taken a group of people of Chabadniks. They established a Chabad community in Eretz HaKodesh. And the Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, who's left to take ownership of the territory in Europe, is here again, and many times, encouraging the remainder in European Jewry of the Chabadniks to focus their tzedakah on the Holy Land, which is called the land which is holy. To give that which you have designated and should designate each and every day or year or month, but the amount that you have designated to give to the Holy Land, that it should be built speedily in our days. Aleihem titof milotzi. On them, literally my word drips. I'm calling to them. B'tozdel betal amarti. He says, my speech drips like dew. L'zarez l'zarizim. To strengthen those who are already strong, but to give you more strength. L'chak yadayim rafes, and to strengthen your weakened hands, particularly in this inyan of giving tzedakah to the Holy Land. Kematan damim ma'is Eretz Yisrael, to give the amount of money, the money that you're pledging, and more than that, if you can, to Eretz Yisrael. Midei Shabbos b'Shabbata, you should put aside some tzedakah for Eretz Yisrael every single week, or every single Erev Shabbos. Or lepoches, at least midei chodesh b'chodshed, at least once a month, you should have a special pile that goes to the Holy Land. Of the whole list of which you've given, that you plan to give for the whole year, the designated portion of it, either weekly, he says, or monthly, should be given to the Holy Land. The whole kesef hadashim, and all the holy silver, the holy coins, asher ola alev ish lehisnadav, that a person, that rises upon a person's heart to give, to donate, bli neder, of course, without a neder, lefarnosis achenu yeshvei eretz hakodesh, to give parnasa, sustenance, to our brothers in the Holy Land, b'day shona b'shona, for the entire year. Kini milvad hayadua l'chol, besides that which is known to everybody, which is gaidel milas hazrizas v'kol hamitzvahs, which is the great advantage of extra effort and quickness, alacrity and strength and power, that extra strength and alacrity in mitzvahs in general, hanemer, as which is said, v'nishtam b'divrei hazal, and repeated over and over again, zrizas, zorin b'mitzvahs, this expression, be zrizas, be careful and with alacrity in your mitzvahs, besides that which applies in general to all mitzvahs. The sages have said, they said, a person should always be like the first one, first in line. Person, the devar mitzvah, when it comes to an affair of a mitzvah. The Avraham Avinu alav shalom through Emedes La'ad, and the zrizas, the alacrity with which Avram Avinu is going to focus for a moment on the Akedah, that the unquestioning service and the instantaneous response to God's request to give is modeled by Avram Avinu. It stands for us, Lanu, Ulabanenu Aroilam, the Maisa Avas Simin Labanen, the expression, and the deed of the fathers and the mothers is assigned to the children. So Avram Avinu stands for alacrity, zrizas, being first in line, instantaneous response to what Hashem wants. And where did he do that? By the Akedah. Ki Akedah atzma einu nechsheves kol kach l'nesuyin godol le'erech mailas Avram Avinu. However, even the Akedah, which one can hardly imagine, going to the Akedah with one of one's children, he says that by Avram Avinu was not such a big deal in a certain respect. V'shigam, considering that God himself spoke to him. Right? God spoke to him and said, take your child. There are many, have been many and many holy ones who have given their lives for the holiness of Hashem. Even though Hashem didn't speak to them. Except that Avraham Avinu, but his alacrity to do this was what we're pointing out here. Not that he did it, many have done it, and many have done it without hearing God speak to them directly. But Avraham Avinu's alacrity is what we're pointing out here. He did it with a wondrous alacrity. And he showed his joy, his happiness in this mitzvah that God had spoken to him. And his great desire, to fulfill the will of his master. And to give pleasure to the one who formed him. And from that and from him, our sages have learned kol ha-mitzvahs beklal, that in general, all mitzvahs, and particularly the deed of tzedakah, ha'oila akolonu, which literally rises above all of them. And we said what tzedakah is chesed, and chesed is to go out of yourself for somebody else. And that's the whole klal of mitzvahs in general, to go and engage with something that you may not have thought of engaging with before, a thing, an object, or a person, or a relationship. So tzedakah is the prototype. It's a word, prototype for all the mitzvahs. Hamagina, and what do the mitzvahs do? Hamagina umatzola beperoseha be'olam hazeh. They protect you. They shield you. And he says the fruits are, the keren is in this world, and it protects the fruits in this world. The kol mine peronias, and what are the fruits? It protects you. The example he uses here for all kinds of punishments. It's like a shield around you. The mitzvahs are guarding you. They're keeping you. Shomer, right? You shomer. You guard the mitzvahs, and the mitzvahs guard you. Shmira. It's a shmira from all kinds of negativity, hamesarakshes, which may happen. Criticality is written, tzedakah tatzil mimavos. It says in Mishlei that tzedakah saves a person from death. The culture came and how much more so it saves you from death, from all other kinds of negative affairs, hakalim mimavos, which are lighter than death. So culture came, how much more so? Shetoiv lonu gam be'olam hazeh. So how much more so it's upon us as we are here. Forget about the future world. Down here in this world where Masahu ha'ikr, it's upon us. L'hagdima kol ma de'efshar, to get in first in line as much as impossible, both physically, like here I am before anyone else, and also with the quality and quantity of your donations and your tzedakah and your engagement with mitzvahs b'klal and tzedakah b'frat specifically. Shetoiv lanu gam be'olam hazeh, because the goodness comes to us also in this world. L'hagdima kol ma'at, from the mitzvahs that we do, and we should be first in line. The hadima kol ma de'efshar, to be first in everything that's possible in regard to mitzvahs. Kol ma she'efshar shehari odam nidun b'chol yoim. Why? Because a person is judged every day. And since every day is a day of judgment, every day is an opportunity to be successful in that judgment through zrizas, alacrity in mitzvahs, and particularly the mitzvah tzedakah for Eretz Yisrael. That's today's Tanya. Pretty straightforward. Comments, questions? All right, then, Mitzvah Hashem, we will see you tomorrow. Take care.